Now let's review that to-do list. Stop the crime? Check. Took pictures of my web-slinging self to win the Daily Bugle's photo contest? Check, check. Hightail it home before curfew? Check, check, check. Yep, for once, I'm making all the right moves.
Alright, so Spider-Man 4 was officially unveiled at the Sony event the other day, and I gotta say, I'm a little worried about the placement of this film and its release date. Now, listen, I know 2 MCU videos in a row is kind of crazy, but these are quicker videos I can do to get more used to my editing style and nerd ramble to things I'm passionate about to you guys about some of my favorite comic book heroes, and a big retrospective's on the way soon. I'm working on it as we speak. And another one will be coming, and I'm about to start the playthrough live. If you know, you know. Check out my YouTube channel. Like and subscribe while you're there. And maybe watch a live stream or 2. Anyway, let's, before I get into Spider-Man 4 itself, I do want to quickly cover, just a little bit about Spider-Verse, the movie that I'm actually excited about out of this event. Now, personally, I wasn't there, so I didn't get to see the sneak peek that I've heard of. It's been said their animations have went up from their revolutionary work of the past 2 movies. And we kind of know that Miles is a multiversal fugitive now, which I think we all knew that was what was going to happen here. Not much more I can say as I didn't see it, and I don't want to speak too much about what they saw until I see it for myself. But all in all, I'm very excited for this movie, and I'm glad they seemingly gave the animators enough time to breathe while working on this. Alright, now it's time for the fun stuff. So, the new Spider-Man movie, subtitled Brand New Day, was announced there with a release date of July 24th, 2026. Did you guys notice the weird thing about that release date? Well, I do. See, this is going to be released directly in the middle of the Avengers movies. The 2-parter, you know, the singular story that these 2 movies are telling, broken into 2 pieces. Spider-Man's right in the middle for some reason. But we'll get into that in a second. It does give me a lot of pause about the movie, but I want to be fair. Let me list some of the positives I have of this so far. Tom Holland says it's a fresh start for our Spidey, which I think is desperately needed after the last trilogy. And I'm excited to see what direction this character goes, even if I think it might not be that good. 2, Sadie Sink has been officially revealed to be part of the cast, which I liked her in Stranger Things, and I hope she can bring something to this movie that it needs. That's about it. Now, it's time to go into the section I like to call all the reasons this is stupid and probably won't work. So number 1, let's start with a smaller thing. No matter where the movie is placed in the actual MCU timeline, it's going to be viewed as very story heavy to the whole MCU storyline because it's releasing in between the 2 Avengers movies. Like, even if this is a self-contained story, you're shooting yourself in the foot because everyone that's going to see it is going to think this is the bridge between Doomsday and Secret War. Which, if it is, fuck. We don't need another Spider-Man story like that. I feel like that will only hurt the movie. But, anyway, it's probably going to be a story explaining how Spidey's going to be back in the big leagues, and how he's going to be somehow a pivotal role in the Secret Wars despite not being in Doomsday. Kind of like the last movie that did this, Ant-Man and the Wasp. And now, this isn't too huge. I mean, I don't like it, but I do understand it. Spider-Man is such a big, marketable character that not having him be a main character in your story would be dumb. You know, you're losing out on money from it. But if it's not done well, all the character growth which happens to Peter is going to feel so forced. And, like, it has to happen not because this is how the character would grow in the situation, but because Marvel needs our friendly neighborhood wall crawler there to be ready to sell tickets for the Secret War. And, a little side point here before I get on to the next one, I don't really trust the Russos with Spider-Man. You know, he had his arc in Homecoming, completely derailed for the Avengers movies. That made Far From Home essentially retell the same arc. And then for some reason, No Way Home kind of retells the same arc again. It felt like a repeat. The only reason No Way Home, I think, is any good, really, is because you got Aunt May dying, and you got the previous two Spider-Men there. And I don't think the multiverse can save this film. It's only going to hurt it. Which leads greatly into my next point. The chance of this being a multiverse-dependent story is all but guaranteed, because it is going to be the middle point between the climax and the ending of this whole multiversal saga. I mean, even if only the inclusion is at the end, similar to what Ant-Man and the Wasp did, it's only going to really hurt the movie, I believe. And it's not going to help, because Spider-Man's dealt with multiversal bullshit. I mean, that was the whole last film he was in. He needs a movie truly on his own desperately. Like, we need this Peter to go out and solve his problems with his own Parker ingenuity. Now that leads me to the third point, which is that you should like and subscribe, because I'm going to keep talking about all this nerdy goodness, be it superheroes, gaming, or even movies. And I think you like that if you're watching this, so please hit subscribe. I'm trying to do this a lot more. It'll mean the world to me. You know, maybe share it with some friends who don't like Tom Holland's Spider-Man, because I'm going to be honest, I'm about to shit on him for a bit, but I'm also going to tell you how I think the story can be saved if they listen to me, which Marvel's not going to listen to me. I'm a kid with 71 subscribers talking in his bedroom about the MCU. They're probably right not to. The point I hit on is so huge that the rest of this video is basically just going to be a rant about it, like I said. And then I'm going to go back and tell you how I'd fix it and use him in the MCU right now. So, start off. What you took what was already an overused concept, and you use it as the main tool in the story for the previous movie. You use it again, you're taking that horse who is already dead and rotting, and you're planting a bomb in him and just letting the horse blow the fuck up. To the point where it's no longer a dead horse. It is just a mass of stuff that everyone thinks is gross and no one should touch. That's all you're doing. I mean, I understand multiverse is a huge part of this saga, but you've already had a multiversal Spider-Man movie, and your multiversal saga is literally about to end. You could wait a singular year more and have this movie set up Spider-Man's role in the next saga of films. Maybe make him the unwilling mentor role. You know, maybe some of the younger street-level heroes fill in with almost like cameos during the Spider-Man films. Or maybe Spider-Man cameos in their shit. And you have all that build up to the conclusion of the trilogy, where you have Miles, and then Peter reacts in a post-credit scene like, oh fuck, not another one, because, you know, it's a Tom Holland post-credit scene. He kind of has to freak the fuck out. Anyway. And please have Peter be more closed off and reluctant to take heroes' help. Like, maybe have him grow a bit cynical towards the heroes, almost. Maybe have him blaming Tony somehow for the situation he's in. I mean, he viewed him as a hero before, but now looks at him with disdain for dying and leaving him alone, which he knows is his own fault, but he can't help but blame Tony. And that cynicism will eventually dial back throughout the movies. And maybe it boils down to something we see more in the comics, where he's just rambling about his terrible Parker luck. I'd be okay with that. I think that'd be really cool. But Marvel, please listen to me. At least have this be a part of the film before Secret Wars. It's a good lead-in. It's a good dynamic to have Spider-Man be. Please. Also, I really hope Sadie Sink isn't like some new superhero. Like, I hope she's only a part of Peter's story. Don't get me wrong. I want Spider-Man to interact with some other Marvel heroes, but we do need some people for Peter himself to interact with. We do need some people for Peter to interact with while not flipping around. And I don't really want any of the original cast in yet. I do want them to show up, but not yet, not in this next movie. Only exception I really have is Flash, because I think he was kind of wasted and he could be done a lot better if he doesn't remember Peter. and is now more of an antagonistic bully rather than just an annoying bully. One thing I really want them to do with Peter, and I've already mentioned it before a little bit, but I'm going to flesh it out a bit more here. You know, put in Kamala, put in Kate, maybe even Ant-Man's daughter. Forgot her name completely. I'm sorry. And then, maybe he's just helping them stop, like, a petty robbery or just some small crime. And now, while Peter's there, he helps them and gives them a lesson in superheroing. But, while interacting with these heroes, maybe they help him learn about something in his personal life that he's been putting off and avoiding because being Spider-Man to him is just easier. Now, obviously, he doesn't ask for help, but I think throughout some just sayings and how they're talking, you know, somehow the solution to the problem comes up and he's like, oh, thank you, that really helped me. But I don't want Spider-Man to feel like he's like this old pro who's on top of everything. He's not there yet. We all know that. This is pretty much a fresh Spidey. I mean, they are saying that the original trilogy was somehow him becoming Spider-Man. Bad idea, but it's already happened. We can't change that. What we can change is what they're going to do with him now. And so I'd love to have the final movie in the trilogy be Daredevil. And so the last two movies, and maybe some cameos here and there, you know, he's more in the mentor role, helping other people out. But come to this last movie where he's officially out of his depth, maybe have Daredevil be in there as, like, the main character they bounce back and forth from, you know? Mostly because Daredevil rocks, and who doesn't want more Charlie Cox in the MCU? I might even be totally off base here with this idea and just be plain wrong about what it's going to be. And I'd be okay with that. I'd be happy, but I really don't think I'm wrong. I hope they can work in some of the other stuff I said while messing with multiversal bullshit, and that's kind of the most I can hope for. But anyway, that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please consider hitting that like and sub button. I'm wanting to do this more, wanting to make a name for myself out here, and you guys doing that's the only way I can. It'll mean a lot to me. Thank you all so much, and I'll see you all later.